Welcome back to the Alcohol Free Revolution podcast. My name is Steve Smith,
And my name's James Lloyd.
and it's lovely to see you. How are you doing? Are you
I'm
surviving?
doing really good.
I
Yeah.
nearly went straight in with weather chat, and I'm conscious that
Oh
every
no,
time I
no.
do the intro, that's kind of where I fire in at. But loving
Plenty
the
of time for
summer,
that later.
loving the summer.
Before we get
It's
onto the weather chat, which we inevitably will do, we've already lost most of the listeners already in the first 5 seconds. Like and subscribe because we're really bad at asking people to do this. But as you probably noticed from just about every other podcast you listen to, they are constantly asking you to like and subscribe. And we're about a year into this now, and we hardly ever bother to ask, but we're going to ask now because we want to try and get more people with ears on the pod. We want to be coming in as many people's ears as possible every single week, right, Steve? So they need to hit like and subscribe.
100%. And you know what? It actually takes very, very little. If you don't know, just look when you are on whatever podcast provider you're listening to, just click either the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. It makes an absolutely huge difference to getting us further up the rankings. It takes literally a second. And let's be honest, if you're still on here and listening, you obviously like it. So we'd really appreciate that thumbs up and it would make a huge difference. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Just means more people see it. And we don't
Yeah.
make any money out of it because we're doing this for free because we love you and we want you to stay and we want more people to hear. So yeah, just help us out if you can. It's
Yeah.
free,
Awesome.
it's easy. Anyway, that's enough of
Anyway,
that.
yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
So what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've just been actually down the New Forest with a very good friend
My
of
neck of
mine.
the woods. So I'm from the New Forest.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful down in Brockenhurst. Lovely campsite down there called Holland's Wood. Been there with a few times with the kids, but I went with a really good mate of mine. I've known my mate Chris. Shout out to Chris. I've known him since I was 4. So
Blimey.
that was in the 18th century.
So he's
So
oh you deprived me of the
I
opportunity to get in
deprived you.
there with
I
that.
always want to get one step in ahead of you. Yeah, I've
Ugh,
known him since I was 4. So I've known Chris the best part of half a century. And
that
it was
makes
a
you
lovely
sound
time.
really old when you say
Yeah,
half a
exactly.
century.
Half a century. It's
Wow.
scary, but it was
Full.
just nice to go away with a really good mate. We don't catch up as often as we should. He lives in central London, so camping's not something he does a great deal. He took his kids, I took my kids, and they went off and did their thing. We were chatting a bit about this before we started. It felt like the 80s again because they were off running around doing their own thing, and we just got to catch up, and it was lovely. I had a really lovely few days, but something that came up for me, and I actually put this out on my socials yesterday. I was driving home afterwards yesterday and I drove past this pub and I saw it from the car and I thought, I remember coming here about 10 years ago and thinking to myself and saying to my wife, that looks like a nice pub. We should go there. And it was the first thing I thought of when I saw it and I thought, why did I say that looks like a nice pub? It was just a pub. It was just no more than any other pub. It was just that when I'd gone there at that time, my first thought I thought when I got there was, where are we going to go and get a drink when we get here? And
Mm.
and it really jumped out at me yesterday. Kind of this moment of realization that actually now you go to somewhere and it's not the first thing you look for. It's not the very, you can be in the
No.
most beautiful part and it's lovely. And it was just yeah. So I thought I'd share that with you.
Do you know what that really rings true with me actually? But I'm going to take that step further. What really irritates Chris when we're on holiday is I am so functional about where we're going. She'll want to go and look at what the options are. She'll want to go and look at a few different places. Check out a few menus first. Whereas I'm like, first place, want food, eat. It's very functional, and it was the
Mm.
same with booze as well. And I remember when we went to Iceland, me and some of my football buddies, and we literally found the first pub next door to the hotel and then spent like 15 hours in there watching and I mean 15 hours. We were literally, maybe it wasn't 15 but it was 12. We literally
Yep.
got in there about midday and we were there till about 2
Yep.
a.m. and it was the
Yep.
hotel and it was the pub right next door to the hotel and it was like an
Yep.
American themed bar in Iceland. And then it's a bit like, what the fuck? And here's the thing. And then the next, and it's probably one of the most I've ever drunk in my entire life. And then the next day, just to justify the cultural experience, we basically had a car, which is no way we should have been driving, and we kind of drove off somewhere in Iceland to sort of see some sights. Went in completely the wrong direction. I had a horrendous hangover. Got back, got changed, went straight back to the pub, the same pub next door for the entire time, and literally saw hardly anything of Iceland. And I'm a bit like,
It's
it
crazy, isn't it?
literally was. It was. I'd say 2/3 of the time we spent in Iceland, including the time we were asleep, were in this American bar in Iceland, just getting pissed. And I just like, and in hindsight, I'm kind of, what's wrong with you? What? What? That doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense whatsoever.
It makes no sense at the best of times, but when you go to somewhere like Iceland, and I've never been, although we were one day away from going to Iceland. Jo was pregnant with Tom, my youngest, and we were due to go to Iceland. And unfortunately, she was unwell, and obviously being pregnant, we decided to ditch the trip. And we've never been back, and I would absolutely love to go. But
It's
everything
wicked.
I've heard from
I'd
everybody
like
that's
to
been
say
to
I've
Iceland is
yeah, I'd
like,
like to say
we've
it's a
got some
lovely
great
place, but
American
yeah,
bars there.
yeah, it's might as well have gone and spent it in Frank and Benny's.
Exactly. And you're going to such a unbelievably beautiful place. And the one reason people go to Iceland, the biggest reason people go to Iceland is actually to see the sights and actually see the incredible landscapes and the
Mm,
Blue Lagoon pools and all these kind of things. And yeah, why do we do it to ourselves? We go and sit in a
I
bar for the whole time.
just, but I'd like to say that's the only time that's ever happened, but
No, I'm the same.
it isn't. It absolutely isn't at all.
No.
Whenever you're away, I don't know if it's the same when you've got your kind of your partner or your wife in tow, but I think when a bunch of blokes get together,
Yeah.
I mean, stag do is obviously specifically about drinking nowadays, but if you go away with a bunch of blokes, I don't know, perhaps you got a different view, but it really is just about finding somewhere to go and get absolutely hammered. And that's where I think maybe that's one of the reasons why, as blokes, we kind of struggle with this idea of stopping drinking and what we're going to be losing out on, because that just doesn't happen anymore.
Mm.
You just don't do that. I mean, I look back on that time in Iceland, and don't get me wrong, I had a great time. I had a lot of good male bonding. That sounds a bit weird, but we spent a lot of time together in a pub, had a good time, watched a load of football, drank a load of beer, and but it was really all about the drinking. And I think you almost have to kind of, we talk a lot about identity, and you kind of almost have to reinvent yourself a little bit as to find different things to do, and that could be a little bit overwhelming because you perceive that no one else is going to be doing it and you're going to do it. And I can't remember if it was you that mentioned about that if you're the person who's gone alcohol free, the impetus is on you to suggest new things to do, because other
Mm.
people are not going to come up. People are not going to say, "Oh, Steve, you don't drink anymore. Why don't we go, and do some yoga?" I don't know why I'm saying that, but what? Yeah, why don't we go? Why don't we go and do something different? Why don't we go to a spa? Why don't we go do something in nature? Why don't we go out on a bike ride? Why don't we
Yeah.
go and play
Yeah.
paddle? Why don't we go
Yeah.
to tennis? Why don't something like that? I'm not selling this to anybody. I can tell that, but it's. Do you know what I mean? You kind of feel like the impetus is on you to come up with new suggestions.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. And interestingly, that did this weekend. My mate doesn't drink either, so that was just it was
Perfect.
great. It kind of yeah, exactly. We just kind of and one thing I really noticed is that it was just so much. It was just chilled. It was like you know what? Well, yeah, let's go and do this. Go for a walk around there, go to the local lake, and everybody, all the kids can jump in and have a swim or whatever it happened to be. There was no agenda, no pressure, no, we actually did swing past the pub on the way home, and they
Mm.
had Estrella Zero on draft, and they'd sold out, so I was a bit gutted.
Oh
But
no.
um, but yeah, it was just there's never that. I just noticed there's never that kind of I want to go there, I want to go there. It's just everything flows, and it's just
Mm.
no stress, no.
Do you know what? As we're talking, I'm kind of thinking about what you're saying, and then this whole idea of spending hours and hours and hours in the pub because you're drinking. Do you think that when you're not drinking, actually you don't really do anything for that duration of time like you do when you're pissed? So when you're talking, I'm sort of thinking to myself, okay, what actually do I do with my friends now? I don't tend to do any single thing that will last for like 5 hours. I just don't, because
Mm,
you why would you? So it's
no,
almost as if the alcohol piece, particularly after maybe the second hour or so, is kind of, I don't know, maybe numbing the boredom a bit. It's like when you're on a train or something that, one of the first, or on a plane, you drink because it just kills time.
yeah,
It just takes you, it switches your mind off from the boredom of doing the same thing for several hours. And I wonder
yeah,
if that's the same when you're in a pub for like 5 hours with a bunch of people. What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah,
Or a
probably. And then
wedding?
there's that, yeah, well, or a wedding, yeah. Well, there is that, once you're a couple of beers in or whatever, it's that I can't really be asked to go anywhere else. Where you're kind of stuck what you're doing, and maybe it is numbing that boredom. That's not to say that on occasions it's not been fun and everything else, but I'd say in the vast majority of time,
Mm.
it's just
It's like with work events as well.
filling time. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
work events exactly. It is just that filling time. I mean, yeah, there's not a lot I do. I mean, you might have picked the wrong person. I decided to go for a run for 3 days, but other than but, but other than that, there are very few other things that I
Yeah. I
do
think it's
for
just
that
being
period
able
of
to,
time. Yeah,
booze, I suppose, gives you that ability to just literally just switch off when you're bored. And I'm
yeah,
not sure if that's a good thing. So what it really becomes about then when you remove alcohol is finding finding things that fill your time up that you enjoy doing. And I've
Mm.
probably mentioned it on here before. I was bang on about it, but when I used to drink, I'd quite happily spend my Sundays on the couch watching football. Probably spend 3 hours of a video game that I was into, that particular time.
Mm.
And that'd be great. I'd quite happily do that. But
Mm.
now I don't drink and I've got all this time back. It kind of feels like it's the opposite way round because there's so much stuff that I want to do, that I enjoy doing, that is active. That the idea now of spending 3 hours sat on the couch on a Sunday playing a video game, never going to happen. I'm not going to
No,
find 3 hours to do that.
no,
I'm just not.
no.
But yeah, I've got all of this time back, but I've got all
Yeah,
this other stuff that I do instead.
yeah,
So, and that's a good example of killing time.
yeah. So I mean, it feels so far, and we're only in the beginning of, well, middle of July, but it feels like it's been the longest summer ever. What have you been up to for your summer so far?
Well, the last month's been quite busy actually. So Chris and I have had a few long weekends away. I spoke a few pods about when we were in Croatia with our best mates, which was awesome.
Hmm.
But we've also a couple of weekends ago we went down to Cornwall for the weekend. We went to the Eden Project. Have you ever been there?
Oh, lovely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been there. It's amazing. Love it.
Yeah, it
Love
was
it. Love it.
awesome, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I actually got my photograph taken with a pitcher plant.
Ah,
You,
well,
you know what
yeah.
that's a reference to, or
I know what it's a
has
reference
that gone
to,
over
but
your head?
no, no, it's totally a reference. I get the reference. I just wonder whether our listeners have, but I'll leave that to you because
Yeah, yeah. So
that's definitely.
if you read This Naked Mind
Yeah.
or How to Control Alcohol by Alan Carr, you'll know what a pitcher plant is. And
It's
that
also referenced in Alcohol Lied to Me. It's
oh,
also
is it?
referenced in there, the pitcher plant. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I won't kind of butcher what it means, but essentially a pitcher plant analogy when it comes to alcohol is like you're kind of drinking what you think is nectar, but over a period of time you start to realize that the plant's actually eating you. That's the long and short of it. Anyway, I saw a
Mm.
pitcher plant when I was at the Eden Project. That wasn't a highlight, but it reminded me as well that I've got somebody I'm working with at the moment who I definitely want to get on the pod in the next kind of few months when he's finished the 100 days, and he's so taken to being alcohol free that when he's finished the 100 days, he's going to get a tattoo of a pitcher plant. How good's
Oh,
that?
really?
I know,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So this week he's been doing skydives. He's learned to skydive this week, and he's done like 5 jumps out of a plane. This guy is absolutely inspiring. His name's Brian, and I'm going to get him on in a future pod and get him to tell his story. But he's brilliant. But he's actually getting a tattoo of a pitcher plant. I think it's
You know what? The amount of
brilliant.
times I've talked about a pitcher plant, I've got no idea what a pitcher plant looks like.
Well, I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like a condom.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
That's
because
going to be a great
when
tattoo then, isn't
no,
it?
because when he showed me the picture, I was a bit like, that looks a bit like a condom, Brian. So he's trying to get the tattoo artist to adapt it so it doesn't look like a condom.
You
But
really
he's
want
a
to get
great
that
fella.
right, don't
He's a
you?
really great fella. I'm going to get him on to tell his pitcher plant story, and he'll show you. Probably show you it once he's got it done. But yeah, great guy.
Can't wait.
But
Can't
anyway,
wait to see.
so just to sort of backtrack. So yeah, I went to the Eden Project,
Mhm.
which really blew me away. Actually, it's really fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's
Do you do the
just
zip wire?
no, but I wish I had.
Yeah,
At the time, I was kind of like, oh God, I don't fancy that. But now I'm kind of like,
yeah,
why don't you just push yourself a little bit? Did you?
yeah.
Of course you
No, well,
did.
now I say
Oh,
I
you didn't?
didn't. No, I didn't. No, because our kids were too young when we
Were you
went
too
there. But I
short?
would definitely. I was too short. My 7-year-old got through, but I got knocked back.
Oh my
I had a
gosh.
heart
They were
condition
like,
and I was too
sorry,
short.
no 5 foot octogenarians allowed. Sorry, that's really nasty. I'm joking.
No,
I
it's
don't
true
mean
though.
that.
It's
But
true
it's
though.
not true. You're not 5 foot tall. You're not 80 years old either.
Well, no, but
Be
yeah,
close, but yeah.
close on both counts.
So yeah,
No, I
so I
didn't
was
do
at
it, but I would really. No, I mean, yeah, I do I like the old thrills. So I've done my bungee jump, done my skydive in the past, and all those kind of things. But yeah, I would definitely get on
So
that. But,
Chris was doing like a work event at the Eden Project. She works for Volvo, and they kind of sponsored it. And it was like they had concerts on in the evening, and it was Bastille, we like the band that played, who were
my
pretty good.
my brother-in-law went to one of those, and it was sponsored by Volvo,
Oh
and
yeah, I think Chris mentioned.
it was
Are you going to tell the listeners who your brother-in-law is? 'Cause
no,
we
I'm
never.
not.
Oh, you know, oh, come on, you got. Can't you give it like? Could you not give a clue?
No, not on here, not without speaking to him first. But he and his wife went to see Wolf Alice.
Oh right, they were a couple
And
of
I
weeks earlier.
love a bit of Wolf
Yeah,
Alice. I saw them support Foos a few years ago, and I
yeah.
do love. I was very, very jealous that they went to see Wolf
Ah.
Alice at the Eden Project. But yeah, we'll talk off air. We'll talk off air.
Yeah, okay. If anyone wants to know, I won't give the game away. But Steve's got a very famous brother-in-law, and if you want to find out who it is, you're gonna have to
Do your research.
yeah, do your research. We'll email us and we'll tell you.
Answers
But
on a
yeah,
postcard.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
so well, we're
it's
going
not
with that
Tom
one then.
Hardy or anything like that.
It's not Tom Hardy.
It's not Tom
It's
Hardy.
not
No.
Tom Hardy.
But so anyway, the long and short of the story.
It's
Part
Mr.
of the reason
Tumble.
is it. It's when we were at the Eden Project, we obviously talk a lot about alcohol-free beer. Not only did they have Estrella Zero on draft, they had Proper Job on draft as
I
well.
you sent me
My
that picture. I
two
was
favorite
super
beers.
jealous, and they
Yeah,
were doing
both of them.
free samples.
Yeah,
I
it's
nearly
free
got in the
free
car and drove
samples of
down.
Proper Job
Yeah,
and Estrella as well. I was like spoilt for choice.
yeah,
It was great in Bastille, really good. It was a beautiful summer's day, and they kind of light the domes up. That if anyone's not
yeah.
seen the
They're
Eden
amazing.
Project, they're like these kind of ecosphere dome things which have basically like a rainforest inside. One's got like a rainforest in it, and the other one's got like a Mediterranean ecological system in it.
Mm.
And you can walk around it, and it was wonderful. Really,
Yeah, it's
really,
brilliant.
really, really cool. Weather was great, and yeah, so we did that, and then we hung out in Cornwall, went around, jumped in the sea in Cornwall, had a little swim around in the bay and stuff, and then the weekend after, I was in London. I did. Chris and I went to see Maroon Five in Hyde Park, which again another alcohol related revelation there. So we kind of first got together to Maroon Five 20,
Aw.
22 years ago. Yeah, when I was over in my
When
wife's.
they were back when they were good
Yeah, but back when they were good. I was surprised how many hits they had. Actually, I was thinking,
before auto tune. I loved
well,
their first
well,
album.
so they're quite linked to our past because when Chris and I first started going out, which was 22 years ago, I went. She's from America, and I was over in America with her, and she had the album, the CD, in her
Yeah,
car. Which
yeah.
incidentally, her car was a complete shit tip. I remember that. And we were listening to it, so it kind of became like our album. And when I first got that first time I was in Pittsburgh with her, I bought my first iPod. And when I got back to London with this first iPod, I went to HMV, and the first album I bought that I put onto an iPod was Maroon Five. Um, so it's kind of quite intrinsic to us. But anyway, the reason that when we were at this gig, it was sponsored by Peroni. And Peroni do Peroni Zero, of course, and they had this entire Peroni Zero bar. And we've been going to events in Hyde Park for probably about 12 years. British Summertime, they do every year. We've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
some
yeah.
amazing people there like Stevie Wonder and Carole King and Kylie a couple of years
Kylie.
ago.
I watched the documentary.
Did you? Kylie's
Yeah.
documentary
It was
is
very good.
just
Very good.
brilliant. Love
Yeah.
her.
Pleasantly
Absolutely love her.
surprised.
What do you mean you're surprised?
I was
What's
pleasantly surprised. No, no, I thought she. No, anyway, that's another pod. But I thought it was really good. Yeah, I thought it was really,
Yeah,
really good.
really good. Yeah, so watch
I'm not going to
Kylie's
come on there and slate
documentary.
Kylie.
No, of course not. We're not going to
We'll
speak
be
again
looking
if
for
we
a
do
new
that.
host.
Yeah, exactly. I love Kylie. So we're at Hyde Park, and they had this Peroni. It was sponsored by Peroni, and so Chris drinks a little bit. She used to drink not quite as much as I did, but we used to be kind of like drinking buddies, and that's something get asked quite a lot by people. Is what does your wife think? Does your wife still drink? And
Hmm.
she doesn't much. She pretty much just drinks alcohol-free beer with me most nights. And I said to her, "Look, if you have a regular beer, go right ahead. I don't mind." And she's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe I'll have a regular beer." So I was there with my pint of alcohol-free Peroni. She was there with her pint of regular Peroni, and she started drinking it. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And she said, "It just doesn't taste right." And I said, "How do you mean?" She says, "I literally can. It feels like I can kind of taste." The sort of the poison that's almost like poison in it. And I said, it's really weird you say that because most people say the opposite about alcohol-free beer. They say it just doesn't taste quite right. And and it made me kind of sort of think that really it's just what you're used to. So
Hmm.
yeah, alcohol-free beer does taste a little bit unusual when you first try it. In the same way that
Hmm.
alcohol does when you first drink it. It
Hmm.
tastes pretty repulsive when you first taste it, but you acquire the taste and you kind of get used to it. So I think for people who are maybe a little bit concerned that, oh no, I couldn't drink alcohol-free beer because I don't like the taste of it. It doesn't taste like normal beer. You just have to stick with it for a short period of time, and your taste buds literally switch from one to the other, and you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I just thought, yeah, that's kind of quite interesting. And it was
Mm.
similar when I was in Croatia as well a few weeks ago. I told you the story about,
Yeah, yeah.
when I was just had this really bad craving for beer, but it was just beer. It wasn't alcohol. It was
Yeah.
alcohol-free beer that I wanted. And you can quite easily get, the cravings for regular alcohol out of your system and switch to zeros.
Mm.
So
Totally,
yeah,
totally. It's just
that's
keeping
that's
that ritual. Keep the
a couple of
ritual, change the ingredient. Well, I mean, we have talked a lot about holidays in the past, and maybe, now's the time to talk about it because it is most definitely holiday season. And
mm.
yeah, we've got one coming up in a couple of weeks' time.
You're
Where
always on holiday.
I'm never always on holiday. I'm always on a break, a little break here and there, but I don't really have one, maybe two big holidays a year.
Do you know what it is? I guess what it is. I'm remembering when we first started the pod last time, you being away on
Well,
holiday
that's
because we
just
did that.
after I got made redundant, and that's when I did that. We did that 3 and a bit week trip to Slovenia. But this
We
year
had to
we're going
record
over.
5 pods in a week.
Yeah, exactly. We're going over to France this year, and yeah, just gonna mosey around in the motorhome and check out northern Brittany. And yeah,
Beautiful.
it's going to be amazing. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Absolutely cannot wait for it. So
I guess that's the most, well, probably the most obvious difference of you being alcohol free. There's no way you'd be having holidays in a motorhome because you wouldn't be able to drive.
no, or if we did, we'd drive to one campsite, park it up, and stay in it for the entire 12 days, and then and not use it for what it's meant to be, and that's getting out and exploring. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And yeah,
Mm.
driving a 3.5 tonner with a hangover, I don't think I would in the heat would not be something that would necessarily lend itself to the calmest of family holidays. So yeah, but I love it. It's great, and it's yeah, big chunk of it was probably paid for with the amount of money I saved on not drinking over the years. So yeah, it's all good, all good.
Win-win.
Yeah.
I've got a few people I'm working with at the moment who are on their first alcohol-free holidays, and I love speaking to people about alcohol-free holidays because
Hmm.
it's one of those big blockers, isn't it, for everybody? It's like Christmas. Oh, I couldn't do that, and I'm sure you hear it week
All
in,
the
week
time.
out, as I do. I can't. I want to start drinking, but I can't start now because because the World Cup's on or a summer holiday. I'll start in the autumn, and that's fine. I understand why people think that way, but you're just so missing the point. You're just wasting another 3 months of your time where you could be having a great time. And
Yeah.
those holidays, of course, provide such an opportunity to prove to yourself that, wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah. 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 No, and it's well, I think the amount of times to come back from a holiday going, and it was that kind of catchphrase, isn't it? Oh, I need another holiday to get over that one. And
Yeah,
it used to
you're
be that.
wrecked.
And I think with yeah, you're absolutely wrecked. You go away to, to relax after working all year round, and what do? You drink in the heat and feel absolutely exhausted, knackered, hungover half the time you're away and everything else. And I come back to what you said a few weeks ago. I think, if you're going on holiday tomorrow, then yeah, maybe give it a couple of weeks before you start
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you don't want to be battling with that all the way through your holiday. But if you're going away in a month, you can have a so much better holiday by the time you've got a month alcohol free under your belt. 100%. I
Mm.
firmly believe that. And
I've just got a guy who's just graduated my 100-day program. In fact, he's going to be on in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to share his name because I absolutely love him to bits. His name's Barkley, and he's going to be on in a couple of weeks. Hi,
I've heard a
Barkley.
lot about Barclay.
Honestly, he feels like he knows you because he's listened to so many of the pods, but you're going to love him. He's such a legend. So he's on an alcohol-free holiday at the moment in Cyprus, and he completed his 100 days whilst he was on holiday. And he just sent me such nice messages about some of the things he was doing in his family that he wasn't doing before, and and kind of just really enjoying spending time with his son and his wife. And I won't spoil it because I'm sure he'll tell his story in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, he's just loving life alcohol free, and he's going to come on in a couple of weeks and just light everybody up because yeah, he's just great.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
These beacons of hope for alcohol free holidays.
Yeah,
They're
I
the
just think
best.
it's important, isn't it? Because I think people have such limiting beliefs about, well, yeah, I get that you don't drink and that's fine, good for you, but I'm different. I couldn't do it. And I think the more you can expose people to just regular people, who have decided to make that decision to stop drinking for a period of time and have just realized very, very quickly into it that shit, this is actually absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's not like some miserable experience like I thought it was. It's not miserable like it was when I did dry January because there's a structure to how I'm doing it, and there's a process and there are systems in place to support me. And actually, this is one of the most enjoyable things I've ever done.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to put something out there. We always talk about alcohol. Sorry, we always talk about all-inclusive holidays and how you get so much more for you get so much more for your money. And I'm going to genuinely put it on the line here and say, actually, I think you get much more all-inclusive out of an alcohol-free
Oh, I
holiday
love
because
that.
I feel
Yeah,
that my holidays feel so much longer.
they do.
I remember drinking and always thinking, well, you know what? We've been out here a week. Where did that go? Where did that go? We've only been, we're going home in 3 days, and
And I
you
feel
get,
like shit.
and I feel like shit. But you've built yourself up for it for such a long time. You get a week, the week goes, and you know what it's like on these holidays. If you're away for 2 weeks, the second week goes twice as quick as the first one. And I was just thinking, well, blink and you miss it. You're back on the plane and you feel like you've not been away.
Yeah,
That is so not the case anymore. I genuinely mean that, and that's what I mean by all inclusive because the inclusive part isn't the
yeah, get the
alcohol.
parallel.
The inclusive is the extra time,
Yeah, I
the
thought you meant
waking up.
When you
Sorry, go
said
on.
that, I thought, I mean, you're absolutely 100% right. What I thought you meant when you said that was that it's inclusive in terms of you're very present with your family and the people you're
That as
with.
well, 100% that as well. You are so much more all inclusive with everybody else. And I just, I would never, yeah, coming back to what you're saying there, it's that feeling of I could never not drink on holiday. I, that is the single biggest thing I love now. That's more
Mm.
than anything else. I think it's holidays. Holidays are just so much bigger now. They're so much better now. There's so much more in it. And I wake up every single morning thinking, right, what have we got to do today?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's amazing.
It also
Genuinely.
dovetails into what you were saying earlier about when you mentioned about going past the pub and you're sort of thinking about, oh yeah, let's just no, let's just stop and go in that nice pub. But really, what you're thinking is, well, let's go and get something to
Yeah,
drink,
yeah.
and all this whole thing about we talk a lot about where you're kind of in your own head all the time and you're just
Hmm.
thinking about and planning when you're going to go and get the next drink and how it takes up so much headspace. I think that is amplified when you're on holiday as well, because I don't know, mate, I can't obviously speak for everybody, but certainly for me, when I was on a standard beach holiday, that's all I'd be thinking about. I'd be planning out exactly when I was going to start, which is probably going to be around midday, maybe 1 o'clock. And I literally would be planning out in my head when the next drink was coming and when I was going to do it and where we were going to go. And it would, and when you talk about being inclusive with your family, when you remove all of that planning, because you're outside of your normal environment, when you're at home, you just stick beers in the fridge and away you go. There's no
Yeah,
planning involved. You just go
yeah,
in and grab one, and it's a lot more, there's no thought process going into it.
yeah.
But
You're
when
so
you're on
right.
holiday, you have to almost plan out in advance. And again, I mentioned it before, and I think this is just me, but I had this kind of weird kind of rule in my head where once I'd started drinking during the day, I'd have to have a drink every hour to keep the buzz going. I mentioned this to you
Mm,
before, haven't I? And
mm,
I've never heard
mm,
anybody else mention this before. Some
mm.
some weird quirk in my head, but that for me was exhausting because as soon as I'd start at 12 or 1 o'clock, I'd have to be topping up my buzz throughout the whole day within an hour in order not to have got to a point further into the day where I feel like buzz has gone. I feel miserable now, and I feel tired and lethargic. And I always used to find it really hard to kind of restart again after that. So
Yeah,
I kind
yeah,
of told myself over years of conditioning that I had to keep drinking to keep that buzz going. And on
yeah,
holiday, that involved so much effort, so
yeah, yeah,
much effort.
yeah. And you do it every day, right? I'd get up the next morning. I'd have flipping heartburn. I'd feel like shit. I'd probably have to pop a couple of Rennies. You get up, you get going. You go down for that all-inclusive breakfast or whatever, and then before you know it, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. You're back by the pool.
You're
You're
back
watching
on
when the
it.
bar, and you're back on it.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like,
It's insane.
why not
If
just
I
put a
always
bloody paddling pool in the bottom of your garden and go and sit by that for a week?
Yeah,
Because
but if you did that at home, if you literally started drinking at 12 o'clock and drank till 12 the next day for a fortnight, non-stop,
you'd need a holiday.
you'd be an absolute mess.
Yeah,
And ate three courses 3 times a day.
yeah,
You're eating like
yeah,
dessert 3 times a day,
yeah.
and restaurant food for a fortnight, and didn't do any exercise.
Hmm.
You would be an absolute mess.
And I also think now about, and it's just coming to me with you saying that, it's how I describe holidays to people now when I get home. Because when I was away and exactly doing exactly what you're saying just there, you'd come back to work and people would be like, "How was your holiday?" "Oh yeah,
Oh, I
well,
need
it's great.
another
I need
one.
another one to get over it,
Yeah,
to be
you
honest with
do
you.
say
Yeah,
that
it's
though,
great."
but it's true.
And all right, yeah, all right, yeah. Oh God, went past in a flash. I can't believe it's all over. Feels like it never happened now. You'd always
Yeah.
say that. Whereas now, when people ask me, I'm like, "Yeah, we did this, we did that. We went out and trekking to find bears in the wild, or yeah, got loads of nice runs in the morning. We saw some amazing sunrises, some sunsets. We took this drive up to this whatever monastery, whatever it happens to be, and it's just you suddenly realize that you've filled your holiday with so much stuff, which is what
Yeah.
you go on holiday
And
for.
it's also stuff that, the idea of going on holiday fundamentally, I guess you can look at it as a way to relax. Cool,
Yeah,
get that. But you can also look at it as an opportunity to do something you've not done before, have a bit of an adventure,
yeah,
find new horizons.
yeah.
But if you're just sat in a pub, then you're just doing what you do. I totally get it. But if you want to go somewhere and see new things, well, you're not really going to see them sat in
Mm,
an Irish themed bar. All right, so let's say you just got back from holiday. You feel like shit because you drank for an entire fortnight. You're going into maybe August, September time. What do you recommend, Steve?
I mean, I can reflect on last year, and genuinely, last year around September, October time was a busy time for the likes of me and thee, I think. There was certainly a lot more inquiries coming through about taking that break. And listen, I get it. That's what, if that's how holidays have been, that's how they are. But when you get back now, this is really is an opportunity. This really is an opportunity in a window to think, you know, because in 2 months' time, it's going to be, well, I can't do Christmas alcohol free.
Mm. And that
But
starts in
if
November.
that starts in November, so it's not that far away. Sorry to bring doom and gloom on it. But ultimately, what do you want that to look like? What do you want the start of 2027 to look like? If you are now just back from holiday and that is something you're really genuinely considering, then the question does come up now, doesn't it? What do you want the start of 27 to look like? How do you want Christmas to look? Because as you get closer to it, the comment the limiting belief you'll say to yourself is that, well, I can't possibly do Christmas alcohol free. So it's a
Mm.
perfect window to start looking at it, in my view. I'm not sure what you think.
Oh, mate. So the thing that jumps out to me about that, yeah, 100%, you're completely right. In your own mind, you have theoretically got a window now because kind of, September, August, so, yeah, September, October, we're moving into the autumn before Christmas. But here's the real big unlock. For most of the people, I'll go out and say everyone we work with, once you've done a month or two working with a coach, not like doing dry January on your own, you will have a much different perspective on taking a Christmas alcohol free than you will
Totally.
than you would do if you were just thinking, right, I'm going to do 30 days off alcohol, and then go back to it. Yeah, of course, you're telling yourself that you need to go back to alcohol for whatever reason, that you can't do Christmas without it. But if you go into it with a curiosity mindset, with somebody who can help you reflect on what is really going on, all of the great stuff that's coming through, with a strategy, how you feel now, how you feel after 30 days, how you feel after 100 days will evolve and it will change if you are doing it in the right way and you are adapting your mindset as you go. And when you get to November and you've done 100 days, you'll be thinking, huh, maybe I'll carry on. Maybe I'll just do a little bit longer. And I'll tell you right now, as you know, my program is to help people to take 100 days off alcohol. The vast majority of them, after they've done that 100 days, they're now thinking about, okay, let's make it a year. That's the
Yeah.
next big milestone after you've
Yeah.
done. But if I said to you now, take a year off alcohol, you'd be like, bloody hell,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
steady on, mate. I mean,
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
days sounds a lot,
Yeah.
but once you've done 100 days, then you look at it thinking, wow, wonder what I could do next.
But that view of 100 days changes the whole way through that 100 days as well, doesn't it?
Completely.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
It changes even a week in. Even a week in, it changes. And then it changes by week two, by week three,
Yeah.
and it evolves all the way through that process. Exactly, I see it all the time. I
You're
see
creating
it all the
momentum.
time. Yeah, exactly. You're building that momentum. So that's why this window of opportunity is so big now, because
Mm.
what happens in October? Halloween? Really? Are we going to get that excited
Well, what
about
I
it?
think
So go on.
I think if you're missing this window, you're probably thinking, "Oh, I'll just do dry January." And again, you can do dry January, and as we've said, I know we've got maybe slightly different opinions on it. I'm not a fan of dry January at all because I mean, a month of alcohol, great, not knocking that, of course, but the mindset is all wrong. You go into it just
Mm,
thinking, no, I'm just not going to go out because the thing is in January, not much really happens. Nobody goes out. You can hibernate, and
yeah.
you don't really learn any new skills. You just like
No.
literally just go offline for a month, and then you get to the
Yeah.
1st of February, and you're like, okay, I still can't socialize without booze then,
Yeah.
but you're not learning anything. Whereas if you
No.
do it, in September, people are still doing things in September, so there is an opportunity to go out, socialize without alcohol, and explore for yourself that actually it's not actually anywhere near as bad as I thought it was, and actually
No.
a
Exactly.
lot better.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a perfect opportunity. Now's the time.
Mm.
Now's the time.
On that
Go on.
note, and I guess
Yeah.
this has been a bit more of more of a shameless plug for our coaching than it normally is, but we've been doing this podcast for a year for free. We're entitled to plug our services a bit. Steve, where can people find out more about your coaching?
So my Instagram handle is at sober.illiant. And you can find me, my website is www.soberilliant.com.
Mm,
There you
cool.
go. I don't do a great deal on LinkedIn, but I am on there as well.
Yeah, I
So
ditched LinkedIn a few years ago, or a year
there you
ago.
go.
I'm kind of all Instagram as well. So I'm alcohol
Cool.
free
You
coach
should.
underscore. If you want to check out my website, if you go onto the homepage, you'll find a video that breaks down exactly how my coaching program works, and that's alcoholfreecoach.com.
Yeah, you can just chat on my website as well. Leave a message on there. I'm always more than willing to just hop on a call, have a chat, find out what's going on for you, and and just if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. More than happy to chat. So yeah, Lovely stuff.
Well, we've got a few guests lined up for the next kind of few weeks or so. Who you'll find out about in due course. Obviously, I've just mentioned a couple of them already, which I'm excited to get them on. But yeah, we've got
Awesome.
a few people coming up. So
Another guest
yeah,
from over the pond coming up very soon. Our good
another
friend.
American guest, and we must all be
Yeah.
into double figures soon.
Very soon. Cool. All right. Well, have a great week. And
And you too, mate.
catch up next week.
Yeah.